Welcome back! In the last video, you set clear minimum, target, and stretch revenue goals for your product. Now in this video, we're going to decide what type of experience product you want to create over the next 10 weeks. We're not defining your product topic and marketing message here. We'll cover that in depth in Niche Down, Profits Up, and Nailing Your Offer. For now, we simply want to choose what kind of product you want to design, market, and deliver during our time together. Whether that's an online course, a service offering, a continuity program, or one of the many other types of products that you can experientify using the experience formula. The type of product that you choose is your profit model, or how you're going to make $2,000 or more in the next 10 weeks. This is the new revenue stream that you're adding to your business through this program. By the end of this video, you'll be able to fill in this blank. I'm going to make $2,000 or more in the next 10 weeks through blank. For example, I'm going to make $2,000 or more in the next 10 weeks through a group coaching program. Or I'm going to make $2,000 or more in the next 10 weeks through an online training program. Or whatever blank makes the most sense for you in your business right now, and I'm going to give you the context you need to make that choice. It's as simple as that. All you need to do is fill in that one blank by the end of this video. Some of you may already have a sense of what you want to create and how you want to fill in this blank right now. I ask that you watch this video anyway, since I'm going to provide some perspective and context on making this choice that you haven't heard before. Since part of my goal in this masterclass is to open the kimono as I teach this and show you what I'm doing behind the scenes to make this training so powerful. I'm about to normalize the challenges that stand in the way of making a powerful commitment to creating a new revenue stream in your business, so you can be aware of the psychology of what might hold you back and realize that those fears, doubts, and insecurities are a normal part of making the choice to create a new product. If I only give you the information and the how-to, 97% of you wouldn't get results. But if I and you take the time to understand the underlying psychology of product creation, we stack the odds in your favor, which is what I'm here to do, stack the odds in your favor and make it not just likely, but inevitable that you complete and make $2,000 or a whole lot more from an experience products in the next 10 weeks. So relax the part of your brain that might be saying, I wish you would just get to the point, and realize that getting right to the point would be doing both you and me a huge disservice. The framing, context, and psychology is everything. Tony Robbins says that 80% of any success you have comes from your psychology, your mindset, and the emotions that fuel your actions and decisions. And just 20% comes from the how, or the mechanics of what to do when. So we're going to spend some time in every training on calibrating the psychology, mindset, and emotions behind the choices you're making around your products. Sound like a plan? Good. Know that there's a method to my madness, and my intentions in this program are to give you exactly what you need to get to mission accomplished. No more, no less. So you have what you need to design, market, and earn $2,000 or more on your experience product in 10 weeks or less. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. First, you want to keep in mind that experience products, unlike information products, can take just about any shape or form. So when we're talking about something like an online course, chances are it's not going to look like any other kind of online course that you've ever taken before. So don't let your current experience of what a product in a particular category looks like color what's possible for you when you apply the experience formula to this category. I read in the comments around our launch videos that many people felt reluctant about creating a product because they had been let down by products in the past, or that they've let their customers down through their products in the past, which was my story. I watched how my students struggled with my Message to Money online training and coaching program, and I was hesitant to create another program like that if I couldn't get my customers the results I promised. And that core struggle led me to create this masterclass and may have led you to join this. So while the world doesn't need more information or just another product or service, It does need the experience that only you can create to help your customers get the results they want. So if you hear yourself saying, I don't want to create another online course because they don't work, they don't get results, and I've never completed one in my life, stop right there and let's change the way you're approaching this. Try replacing your inner dialogue with something more like this. I am creating an online course in a way that truly serves my business and my customers. Shift from an I can't, I won't, I don't want to dialogue to a how can I dialogue. The question I asked myself after the quote-unquote failure of Message to Money was, how can I create a course that would move anyone, no matter how stuck or confused they felt, into more clarity and action in just 5 days than they've had in the last 5 months or even 5 years? And I've got to be honest, that question scared the hell out of me, and I honestly didn't know if it was possible. But I sat with this question, and I sat with it, and I dared to believe that it was possible. Like the Wright brothers dared to believe that it was possible for humans to fly, even when everyone else around them thought they were crazy. And even after they tried and failed and tried and failed and had more than a few spectacular accidents along the way. That shift, that line of inquiry, led to our huge breakthrough with Call to Adventure, and then to the creation of the Experience Product Masterclass, which is already the most successful online course we've ever offered right out of the gate. That's why you're here right now watching this. Amazing, right? And all this happened from making the shift from feeling sorry for myself and kicking myself over letting people down, letting people fall through the cracks, to really challenging myself to create something new in a different way, in a way that would work, in a way that I could feel good about what I was doing again. So I encourage you to make the shift to possibility thinking, to let go of the woulda, coulda, shouldas, and the can'ts, won'ts, don'ts, and to ask yourself, what's the real opportunity here? What is everybody else missing that I could provide? How can I do things differently that people will notice and love me for? And we're going to continue with that line of possibility thinking over the next 2 modules and beyond as you design, market, and deliver your first experience product. For now, let's make the choice around the type of product you want to create from a possibility mindset, because anything is possible here. Are you with me? Good. It sounds like most of you want to create some kind of one-to-many product that will allow you to leverage your time and scale your business so you can make more money, serve more people, and make a bigger impact. And that's a wonderful goal that I highly recommend for every business. The question is whether it's the right time for you in your business right now to create that kind of product. And that's why I call this video Right Product, Right Market, Right Time. You will create several products and offers over the lifetime of your business. Whether this is your first product or offer, your second, your third, or you're a seasoned product creator, the question I'd like to pose for you in this video is, what's the best type of product for you right now at this particular point in your business growth and development? And based on the amount of time, energy, and resources you have at your disposal over the next 10 weeks. This program is about creating what's called proof of concept. Chances are that you have some pretty big grand plans for your business, and I honor those big grand plans, and I want to help you realize them one step at a time. Murray told me a story the other day of a group of Japanese tourists who wanted to make it to the top of Mount Everest, and they thought they were really clever. They wanted to skip the months of training. They wanted to skip climbing from base camp to base camp to base camp and working their way slowly up the mountain. I mean, who has time for that? So they hired a helicopter to take them up to the last possible base camp that helicopters can go to, so they could see the beautiful views and take their selfies on top of the mountain. The helicopter landed, they got off the plane, and they immediately collapsed. Their bodies weren't accustomed to that high altitude, and they weren't able to breathe, much less enjoy the view. So we're taking a proof of concept approach here in the masterclass to demonstrate that you have a marketable idea, a profitable idea, by beta testing that idea either one-on-one on individual customers or with a small beta group, so you can acclimate your body and your business to the rarefied air on top of the mountain. Don't let perfect be the enemy of the good. There are two ways that people get to the top of Mount Everest. Number one is hiring a guide or Sherpa who's done it before, who knows the route, who understands the risks and the danger, and can lead them on their path, which you've done. And number two is simply taking it one step at a time. And that's how I've designed this series of videos, one simple step at a time. So if you feel yourself getting impatient or wanting to skip steps, remember that this is how you get to the top of the mountain. As you know, we have a saying here at Live Your Message, and that saying is, before you can make money while you sleep, you have to be able to make money while you're awake. If you've never made money before in your business, then I often recommend starting with a one-on-one experience-based service or program to test your ideas, systems, and frameworks before scaling to one-to-many. Or if you do want to start with a group program, do something small with 10 people or less that allows you to have that intimacy and get really familiar with everyone you're working with and get the feedback you need to iterate your way to an awesome blockbuster product. In other words, start with one to few rather than one to many. So imagine a spectrum with the word intimacy on one end and scale on the other. At the intimacy end of the spectrum are the one-on-one programs and services. And on the scale end of the spectrum are the one-to-many programs, products, and courses. And in the middle is the word leverage, where you're leveraging your time to some degree by serving more than one person at a time, but you don't quite have scale. You can't serve an unlimited number of people. You have a cap on the number of people you can serve without compromising quality or compromising the experience you create for your customers, clients, and students. I got a great question during one of my webinars leading to this offer, and that question showed a real depth of caring. Here's the question. I have strong concerns about not supporting people if it's a large group and I don't have support coaches. And that's an awesome question and a legitimate concern. And that's why it's so important to create the right product at the right time in your business. Most people want more customers and they think, I wish I could just snap my fingers and have 100 customers tomorrow. But let me ask you, do you really want that? Do you really have the systems and processes in place to handle 100 new customers tomorrow? Would you be able to get those 100 customers to their goal of mission accomplished? If not, then it's good to start on the one-to-one or the one-to-few side of the spectrum, because your product marketing and delivery becomes more complex as you go further and further to the right of the spectrum. A program like this one is quite complex to market and deliver, and it took me 5 years before I had the team, the resources, and the know-how to pull this off at this level of scale, quality, and experience that we're delivering here. So on the left side of the spectrum, you don't need a lot of resources, systems, or support to market or deliver your product. In the middle, you need some resources, but not a ton. And on the right side, as you go into scale, you need a lot of resources, systems, or support to market and deliver your product. You need what we call in the South, buku resources. So the number one mistake I see people make is trying to scale too fast before you have proof of concept. So they wind up investing a lot of time and money on complex product launches, marketing videos, and membership sites before their offer is dialed in enough to bring in the money and the resources to support all of that. Now, you will get to the right side of the spectrum if you want to. And when you do, you'll have everything you need to intelligently scale without losing quality or making huge investments before you're poised to recoup those investments. Because this concept of choosing the right kind of product for where you are in business right now is fundamentally different from what most of the gurus teach. They teach you to jump straight to scale, passive income, money while you sleep, which is an undeniably sexy concept. I mean, who doesn't want to earn money while they sleep? But, and this is a big but, if you're not ready to scale or you're not a marketing and technology savant, it's really complicated to jump right into fully scalable programs without passing through one-to-one or one-to-few first and getting the experience you need to scale. The learning curve is just huge, and you get overwhelmed, lost, and stuck thinking that you need to do social media and Facebook ads and create a mailing list and have all of these pages and videos and all that stuff. And that's how you end up spinning your wheels going nowhere fast. I've seen this exact scenario hundreds of times with new entrepreneurs who haven't even tested their idea and made their first dollar from their business yet, and they're being seduced by these advanced, top of mountain concepts. Like I said, you can and you will get to the top of the mountain, but be careful about trying to skip too many steps. Because here's the thing, the less people you're working with, the less complicated it is to market, sell, and deliver your products, and the faster you can earn money. On the left side of the spectrum, marketing, sales, and delivery is all about connection. And on the right side, it's all about production. And production requires some skills, savvy, know-how, and resources to get right, and that takes some time to develop. But connection is connection. Anybody can do that right now. Not to mention that you can charge higher prices on the left side of the spectrum. So as you'll see in the pricing video, you can make your $2,000 with less sales. Now, choosing the right profit model at the right time in your business is the most important number one lesson that you can learn that will save you years of trial and error and a lot of money. So I want to make sure that you're really getting this. I still have experience products in all three areas of this spectrum. I have one-on-one products, I have one-to-few products, and I have one-to-many products. And every single one of these revenue streams actively contributes to our income, giving us a healthy business. I truly believe that intimacy and leverage are just as sexy as scale. So if you haven't made money before in your business, or this is your first product, I recommend starting in the left or middle of the spectrum. So let's look at the kind of experience products that fall into each of our three categories: one-on-one, one-to-few, and one-to-many, starting with one-on-one experience products. So on the one-on-one side of the spectrum, which is really based on intimacy and connection, you've got one-on-one private coaching. Now, one-on-one private coaching, as well as one-on-one private consulting, allows you to really work with someone one-on-one, develop your systems, your processes, your framework, and how you get someone from getting started to mission accomplished. And once you know you can do that, you've got that confidence, you understand where people get stuck along the way, then it's a lot easier to start to package that expertise into one-to-few and one-to-many products. Now, coaching and consulting is often delivered in a 1, 3, 6, or 12-month package where you get people to commit to a package of working with you rather than working with you just for 1 hour at a time. You really want to move away from the hourly model, even if you're in a one-on-one model, so you can start to have more consistent income coming in, and so you can deliver a deeper level of transformation to someone than you could if you were only working with them for an hour at a time. So one-on-one coaching and consulting is often the fastest way to build a profitable business because you only have to sell one person at a time. And you do that by creating a lot of connection with that person. Now, another form of one-on-one work is something called a VIP day, which you can do as either a coach or a consultant, where you understand what's a specific outcome that I can deliver that someone really wants in 1 day or less. And then you work with them usually in person, but this can also happen virtually, for a day and really do some intensive processes to get the result right away. This is a great way to get fast results in a short period of time, and for some people that's really appealing. And sometimes if you don't like to work with someone over a longer period of time, then VIP days can be a great model for you. Now, the last form of one-on-one experience products is done-for-you services. Now, you could be a web design agency, you could be a pay-per-click advertising agency, you could be an artist delivering photography or graphic design, or anything like that. All of that constitutes done-for-you services, where you actually do a service for other people. I've seen people do ghostwriting services, I've seen people do resume writing services. There are a lot of different ways that you can offer services. And done-for-you services are some of the easiest yeses that you can get because most people would prefer that somebody else just do the work for them rather than having to learn how to do it for themselves. So sometimes if you're doing coaching, consulting, or VIP days, starting with the done-for-you service can give someone an immediate result and taste of what you do, so they're more willing and likely to go in on a longer-term package, whether it's a longer-term done-for-you service or a longer-term coaching, consulting package. Moving on to one to few experience products. Now, this allows you to get leverage by expanding your workout not just to one-on-one, but really delivering your work one to few. And a few could be 2 or 3 people at a time, it could be 5 to 10 people at a time, or it could be a small group like 10 to 20 people at a time. And if you have a concern about being able to deliver quality experiences to more people, just understand what is the maximum number of people that you can serve, and really look at the long-term growth of your business over the short-term profits. So if you decide, like I did for a year-long mentorship program, that the maximum number of people that I could accept in that program was 30 people based on my schedule and my availability, then I recommend that you stick to that maximum number, even if you have more people who want to join that program like we did. Now, that was a hard choice for me to turn people down because I was turning people down at the $18,000 a year level. But I knew that the longer term reputation of our business and our ability to provide an extraordinary quality experience to every one of our customers was more important than that $18,000. So if you understand what your maximum capacity is, I recommend sticking to that and not be tempting to let another person in because you really want to help them or you need the money. Because that often leads to a lower quality experience and you're doing them and you a disservice in the long run. So let me share with you a few examples of one to few experience-based products. First of all, you've got group training programs that have limited enrollment. So for example, you could be delivering a program live on Zoom or on GoToWebinar as a series of webinars or teleseminars or trainings that allow you to kind of interact with people on the line because it's a smaller group. So sometimes this can be a purely training program or a hybrid training coaching program. And you don't even need any kind of fancy membership site to deliver this. You can post the replays on a Dropbox for people or on a Facebook group or give them private YouTube links. There's a lot of ways to start with a group training program that are relatively low tech that allow you to get started in a one-to-few model without creating a lot of unnecessary stuff. Now, many people beta test their program with just 5 to 20 people in it. And that intimacy allows you to create an extraordinary experience and really get to know every single participant and serve each participant, understand their needs, their desires, and really fine-tune your framework, your processes, and your systems before you go into scale and try to do the same work one-to-many. Also, when you deliver a program live for the first time, you get that feedback and the validation that you're on the right track. You also get the opportunity to collaborate with your students and your customers to make the program even better before you try to do a pre-recorded, automated evergreen program that you deliver in your sleep. Now, those programs are great once your content is really dialed in. You know that you're providing the right experience and you know that you're getting people results. So I recommend passing your program through one to few before going into the one to many. Now, the other thing that you can do is what I call done with you services or experiences. For example, we've got a program called Website in a Weekend, where I lead a workshop that allows people to design their website during this 2-day workshop as I facilitate and show them exactly what to do. This is a look over my shoulder, behind the scenes demonstration of how to get your website done and how to approach every single decision along the way so you know that you're making the right choices. And beyond making the right choices, you're actually implementing those choices as we go in the program. That's what I call a done with you service because we're doing it side by side. That's what I call a done with you service because we're doing it side by side. You're still doing the work, but you're getting guidance and feedback every step of the way as you do it. And this can be a powerful way to start to scale beyond one-on-one into one-to-many. And a lot of people have the mistaken notion that as they go from one-to-one to one-to-few or one-to-many, the experience is not as good as the one-on-one experience. But when you do this with the experience formula, you can actually make the one-to-few and the one-to-many even better than the one-on-one, especially because you're able to give access to your products and your services to people who wouldn't be able to afford to work with you one-on-one. So they're able to get the result while spending less money, which is of course a better experience for them than struggling to do it all on their own. Now, the other kind of program you can have is a group coaching program, where you're really coaching a group of people around getting a specific result in their life, in their business, in their health, in their relationship, in their spiritual or personal development, whatever it may be. and you're really allowing the group to learn from each other and not just you coaching individuals one at a time. And group coaching can be really powerful through a phenomenon that I call side door coaching. Now, sometimes when you're being coached directly around a blind spot or a challenge, you can go into flight or fight mode where you get defensive. You want to fight back. You want to argue. You want to deny the problem. But a lot of times when you see someone else being coached around the same blind spot or challenge that you have, you can receive the coaching because it's not being directed at you. So the power of side door coaching is incredibly deep and profound. And I've had students in my group coaching programs get the breakthrough, not when I was coaching them, but when I was coaching someone else. So being a fly on the wall as someone else is being coached can often be more powerful than being coached yourself. Next up, there are mastermind programs. And mastermind programs are based on a similar idea as group coaching programs in that a collective wisdom emerges from the group that's not possible if there's just one or two people. Now, masterminds are based on everybody contributing rather than having a single facilitator being the main person doing all of the teaching and training. You still have a facilitator that's creating the experience, but everybody else is encouraged to contribute to one another and not just you be the leader. Mastermind programs are common at a higher level of a business and a higher level of breakthrough where people want to learn from peers who are at a similar level to them and not just from the main teacher, presenter, facilitator, coach. Now, the next type of one-to-few offer is a retreat or a workshop. Now, this can be a live retreat or workshop, or this can be a virtual retreat or workshop. I, in addition to having the Experience Product Masterclass, have the Experience Product Lab, where together in a room for 2 days with 20 people, we go through this entire process and get feedback along the way, really focusing on the areas where people tend to get stuck. And this is incredibly powerful to get into a room because inside of a room, when you get people live, you can have the deepest levels of transformation. Now, virtual is great, but nothing beats the live experience. And some people just need that direct hand-holding experience of being in a room and having that limited amount of time, whether it's 1 day or 2 days or 3 days or 4 or 5 or whatever it is, to just knock it out and get it done. For some people, going through a program on their own or even a program delivered live isn't enough and they need that live experience. So you can often charge more money to create a premium experience and do it in an awesome location or provide food or create additional experiences on top of the main learning to bring the group of people together. And community is one of our primary drivers and motivations and desires as a human being. So live retreats and workshops really bring in the community element in a beautiful way. Next up, let's talk about the one-to-many kinds of experience products that are possible for you. Now, most people, when they think of experience products or information products, think of the one-to-many products that allow you to scale and take an unlimited number of customers or students into your business. And you can definitely get to one-to-many, but like I said, if you're just getting started, if this is your first product, or if this is the first time you're making money in your business, it's oftentimes easier and quicker to get started with one-on-one and one-to-few, so you can start to bring in the revenue that you need to invest in the skills and the resources and the know-how that you need to go to one-to-many, and also to fine-tune your processes, systems, and frameworks to make sure that you know that you can get people the result that you're promising. So the first kind of one-to-many program that's very common is an online course or a membership site where you deliver content, and that content can be kind of automated or evergreen, which means that you may have taught it live the first time you taught it, or you taught it just at home on your computer, and then you post the videos and the trainings and the recordings onto some kind of membership site. And people really go through that program. And a lot of times this is combined with live teaching, live training, live group coaching calls over a certain period of time. Now, most online courses have a finite amount of time, whether it's 2 weeks, 30 days, 60 days, or 3 months. Usually an online course, there's a limited amount of time where you're going to achieve something very specific in your business. Now, leaving the program open-ended makes it a lot harder for people to say yes to because they don't know exactly what they're aiming for. So the more you can make your online course around a specific time frame and a specific result, the more effective your program is going to be. And that gets into the mission and the future self statements that we're going to be covering more in Module 1 of this program. Next, you have something called continuity programs. And continuity programs can be for either virtual programs or for physical products. And the idea behind a continuity program is that you pay every single month to get something, whether it is training, whether it's access to the trainer, whether it's a box of stuff delivered to your door. You pay every single month to continue to get access to that thing each month. Now, continuity programs are great, and the promise of online marketing and online business is to create this continuity program so you can start to make what's called passive income, or make money while you sleep that you can rely on every single month. Now, continuity programs are incredible when you really have an idea that people are going to be able to stay engaged with month after month for years at a time. But the truth is that with most continuity programs, they go through what's called a churn and burn approach, and they lose about 50% of their customers every 3 months. So they constantly have to be marketing and trying to fill their programs because they're not able to keep people engaged and consuming the thing every single month. So people start to look at their credit card bill every month and say, why am I still paying $49 a month for this? I'm not really using this or getting anything out of this, so I'm going to cancel. So before you go into continuity, you might want to figure out, do I have the skills to keep someone engaged over 1 month or 2 months or 3 months? And once you do, then you're like, okay, now I can go into continuity, because now that I understand how to keep someone motivated, committed, and engaged over a finite period of time, I'm going to try to figure out how to keep someone motivated, committed, and engaged over the long term by breaking out the bigger goals into kind of micro goals and milestones along the way, so they're constantly moving towards some kind of mission accomplished, even though that mission accomplished may be a moving target that lasts for 1 year, 2 years, or beyond. So continuity programs are incredible. And oftentimes when people use the word membership site, they actually mean a continuity program. So there's some confusion in the language that's used around membership sites and continuity programs. So I wanted to take a moment to really define these two things so you understand what we're really talking about here. Okay, so the next kind of experience product are digital products or home study programs. Now, this can take the form of an online course, but they can be different. It could be as simple as an audio program that you listen to in your car, a series of CDs, or a series of DVDs that you watch, or it could be something that you just go at your own pace. It might not be formatted as much as an online course where you're not just learning, but you're implementing and you're doing. It could just be something that you listen to and you learn from, but doesn't have as many exercises and things like that. So a digital product or home study program is similar to an online course, but it might not have the level of engagement, interaction, and implementation of a course that's really designed for a deeper level of education. Next up, we've got physical products. I know we've got some people in here who do multi-level marketing, and they sell some kind of, whether it's a nutritional supplement or whether it's vitamins, whether it's protein shakes, whatever it happens to be, where your business model is based on people buying that product over and over again. So you really want to engage people around the consumption of the product and even have them create clear goals, whether it's weight loss goals, whether it's fitness goals, whether it's consumption goals, so they get the full result of that product. So you can use experience products with physical products, especially if there's some kind of continuity or the desire and need for someone to actually consume that product and use that product so they don't return it. If it's a physical product like, a screw or a widget, not so important to create an experience product. But if it's a premium, higher end product that you want people to hang on to and not return, or something that you want people to buy over and over again, then the experience product model works great for physical products as well. Next up, you've got big events. I already talked about the benefit of small retreats and workshops and the magic that happens in a live environment that you can't recreate with virtual. Virtual is super powerful, but getting people in a room face to face offers the most profound opportunity for transformation of any other kind of product experience. And you can do this in a small room of 20 people, or you can do this in a room of 500 or even 1,000 people. Big events are also the best opportunity to enroll people into higher ticket, one-to-few offerings such as masterminds or longer-term group coaching programs that last 6 months to a year or beyond, just the higher ticket programs. So big events are amazing, but I don't recommend trying to do a big event in the next 8 weeks. Plus, there's a lot of expense involved in a big event for the hotels, for the room block, for the food, and all of that. And it's a bit of a risk to do a big event before you know how to fill an event. It requires a lot of marketing to get someone to travel and enter a room. So I don't recommend doing big events right now, but I want to put it in this list so you can see what's possible for yourself in the future. Next up, we've got books or ebooks. I know a lot of people taking this program are authors. You already have books and you want to experientify your book, and that's great. Just keep in mind that with books, a lot of times the money is in the back-end products that are higher ticket products, programs, courses, rather than in the book itself. The book is kind of like the gateway into working with you in a deeper level. So books, you can experientify by having links to your website, to audio video trainings, and opportunities for people to leave the book and do something through exercises and things like that, and through using some of the peak emotional experience stuff that I'm going to teach you in the experience formula. But books are somewhat limited both in income potential and the level of experience that you can create for someone. So I recommend not working on a book, but really working on one of those back-end programs, one of the other things on this list during our time together. Now, the last type of one-to-many experience product that I wanted to talk about is software or software as a service, which is called SaaS, S-A-S. Now, software can be an amazing way to do continuity where people are investing in you month after month after month. At Live Your Message, we have a couple different software and software as a service products. One of them is a very simple Facebook ad gallery that's already making us $5,000 a month in passive income because people pay for subscriptions that they renew every single month. Now, software is a lot more technological. It's also the easiest way to do reoccurring revenue and continuity because it's naturally based on a continuity model where people have to continue to pay for and subscribe to the software month after month to use it. So software works best when it's based on a model where people need to continue to use that software and they require it for some kind of everyday operation in their business, their life, their health, or their relationship. So software usually takes longer to develop than 8 weeks. So I don't recommend focusing on a software as a service during our time together unless it's a super simple software that you know you can develop in a much shorter window. But keep in mind that most software projects do not stay on a timeline, that whatever best timeline that you've got, it takes longer to develop than you think it's going to take. So I do recommend one of these other one-to-one, one-to-few, or one-to-many experience products during our time in our course together. And I wanted to put it on this list so you see what's possible for you in the future. So before you end this video, I want you to choose the type of experience product that you want to create, and I want you to share this with the tribe in the Facebook group. Now, the reason why it's so important to interact and engage in the Facebook group and to continually share your breakthroughs and your commitments is because we are a tribe-based animal. The more you share things publicly, the more you put yourself out there, the more likely you are to do it because you're using not just your own internal motivation, but you're using the external motivation of the group and the community to help you get things done. So I recommend as often as possible posting your commitments, posting your findings, posting the decisions and choices that you're making, because it's kind of another way to say, this is real, this is happening, I'm definitely gonna do it. So congratulations, you just chose the type of experience product that you're gonna create in this program. Then in the next 2 videos in your Lightbulb Moment, we'll define your pricing and launch schedule, the last elements in your idea to market blueprint.